I used to think I was one of the lucky ones. I had a good job, a solid group of friends, and a woman I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. Her name was Kyla, effortlessly magnetic, the kind of woman who made every room feel a little warmer just by walking in. She was smart, funny, and knew how to make you feel like you were the only person that mattered. I fell hard for her. Maybe too hard. We met through mutual friends at a party 2 years ago. She had just come out of a rocky, on-and-off relationship with some guy named Bryce, the type who always seemed to find a way back into her life like a virus that wouldn't die. But Kyla swore it was over for good. Toxic, she'd say with a sneer whenever his name came up. I was addicted to chaos. I'm done with that. And I believed her. Or I wanted to. Within a year, I proposed. It felt right at the time. Everything did. We moved in together, started planning the wedding, invited both sides of our families. Everyone thought we were perfect. But beneath the Instagram posts and Pinterest boards, something was off. Kyla would disappear sometimes without much explanation, claiming she needed space or was overwhelmed with wedding stuff. She was always on her phone, always laughing at texts she never showed me. When I'd glance over, she'd quickly swipe away whatever she was reading. Still, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I was in love, or maybe just deeply invested in the version of her I wanted to believe in. But that illusion shattered 2 weeks before the wedding. It was a Saturday afternoon. She said she was going to hang with her sister for a girls' spa day. I was lounging at home, scrolling through YouTube, when a thumbnail caught my eye. It was Kyla Alive. The channel name wasn't hers. It was some burner-looking name, probably something she used anonymously. The title said, "Let me tell y'all why I could never marry my ex." But I recognized her instantly. That smug half-smile. That voice. That unmistakable confidence when she thought no one who mattered was watching. I clicked in, confused. The video quality was low, clearly filmed from her phone. She had a glass of wine in one hand, and that too familiar smirk on her face. "He thinks I'm at the spa right now," she laughed, sipping. "Y'all, he is so freaking clueless. Like, I literally just left Bryce's house this morning." My stomach dropped. She kept talking, unbothered, like it was the most casual thing in the world. "He still doesn't know? Like, I wake up in Bryce's bed and then go home and act like a little wifey. I should win an Oscar for this." The chat was small, maybe 30 people watching. A few laughing emojis, people egging her on, calling her a savage. "He's planning this whole romantic honeymoon," she went on. "Meanwhile, Bryce is the one blowing my back out. No shame. Honestly, I kind of feel bad for him, but not really. He's so boring. He talks about taxes and podcasts. Bryce knows what he's doing." She laughed harder this time. "The funniest part? I'm going to walk down that aisle like nothing happened." I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was shaking. My heart was hammering in my chest like it wanted to punch through my ribs. It was surreal. The woman I loved, the woman I was about to marry, was bragging about cheating on me in real time. I don't know what came over me. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, watching her bask in her own smugness, completely unaware that her audience had just gained one very important viewer. So I typed, "Good to know. Wedding's off." I hit send. Her eyes flicked down to the chat window, reading it aloud before she could think. "Good to know, weddings." She stopped. Her entire face changed. That confident, cocky glow drained out of her like blood from a wound. Her lips parted slightly, like she was about to say something. Maybe deny it, maybe pretend it was a joke, but she couldn't. Not live. Not with her own words echoing back at her. Her hand went to the screen, and the stream cut out. I just sat there in silence. My phone buzzed almost immediately. "Kyla." Over and over. Then texts. It wasn't what it looked like. "Please let me explain. Don't do this right now." But I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because in that moment, everything I needed to know had already been said by her. And yet, what came next? I wasn't ready for how deep this betrayal really went. Not even close. I didn't sleep that night. Her words kept playing in my head like a looped nightmare. "He's so clueless." That laugh. The way she sipped her wine like she was the star of some drama, and I was just a disposable extra. The worst part was, until that moment, I really had been clueless. By morning, my phone had over 50 missed calls, almost all from her. A few from her sister too, probably trying to do damage control. I turned it off. I wasn't ready. I wasn't sure I'd ever be ready. But there was one thing I was sure about. I wasn't marrying Kyla. I called the venue first. Told them the wedding was canceled. They asked why, politely, cautiously, and I just told them to send everything in writing and hang on to the deposit. I'd deal with the mess later. I called the caterer next, the florist, even the DJ. All of them were understanding. It was like ripping duct tape off a wound, over and over again, but each time I said, the wedding's canceled, I felt a little more like myself again. My mom came over around noon. I hadn't told her yet. I didn't know how to explain it. She brought her usual bright energy and started talking about how excited she was for the rehearsal dinner. I didn't say a word. I just handed her my phone, pulled up the screen recording I'd made of Kyla's stream before it got deleted, and hit play. She watched it all, the whole thing, said nothing. When it ended, she blinked a few times, then asked, "Do you want me to call your aunt or should I?" That was it. No drama, no questions, just solidarity. I didn't know how much I needed that until it happened. Later that evening, Kyla showed up at my apartment. I didn't answer the door at first. I watched her from the peephole, her pacing, biting her nails, talking to herself. Then she knocked again. "Please," she said softly. "Can we talk?" Against my better judgment, I opened the door. She looked different, not just tired or stressed, but deflated. The usual sharp confidence in her eyes was gone. She stepped inside without asking. "I don't even know where to start," she said. "How about with Bryce?" I said, my voice cold. I was proud of that. I didn't yell. I didn't break down. I was just done. Her lips parted, then closed again. It wasn't supposed to happen. It was, I don't know. I didn't think it would go this far. "You mean the cheating or the live stream?" She winced. The live stream was stupid. I was drinking, and it was supposed to be private. Just me venting. Venting. I repeated. "You call me boring. Said you fake everything with me. How long has it been going on?" She didn't answer right away. Then, a few months. I just nodded. That told me everything I needed. "I don't love him," she rushed on. "It was just, he made me feel something I thought I was missing. But I never stopped loving you. I messed up." I looked at her, really looked at her, and I saw it. Not just guilt, but fear. Fear of what she'd thrown away. But there was something else in her expression too, something she didn't say aloud. She never thought she'd get caught. "I can't fix this," she whispered. "Can I?" "No," I said. "You can't." She stayed a few minutes longer, crying, apologizing. I let her talk. I let her spiral. But my mind was made up. When she finally left, I sat down and opened my laptop. I wasn't going to post the video. I wasn't that guy. But I was going to find out what else she'd been hiding. I started going through old messages, social media accounts, anything I could find. I don't know why. Maybe part of me needed to see the full picture. Maybe I just wanted proof that I wasn't crazy for thinking things had been off for a while. That's when I found it. An old Dropbox link buried in her email drafts. Not even sent. Just sitting there, like she'd saved it and forgotten. I clicked it. There were pictures, screenshots, chat logs, conversations between her and Bryce, but not just about cheating. They were laughing at me, planning things, talking about money. And then I saw the name of the shared savings account we opened to help pay for the wedding. My name, her name, the account we'd both been putting money into for over a year. Over $17,000. And it was gone. I logged into the bank app. The account was empty. Closed. I checked the activity log. It had been drained in 3 separate transfers, small enough to avoid triggering alerts, but consistent. All within the last month. All sent to an account under her name. I felt a new kind of rage then. Cold. Controlled. Not just betrayed, but played. This wasn't just infidelity. It was a setup. A con. And the wedding? It was never going to happen. Not in her mind. Not really. I thought I was the clueless one. She had no idea what was coming next. Because I wasn't just canceling the wedding. I was going to destroy her plan, piece by piece. The first thing I did was contact the bank. I told them the account had been emptied without my authorization. They flagged it, froze any further transactions, and started an internal investigation. Then I filed a police report. I wasn't sure yet if it would count as fraud since we were technically both listed on the account, but I wasn't going to let this disappear into a black hole without trying everything. I also took screenshots of everything. The stream, the account activity, her messages with Bryce, even the stupid live stream title she used. I didn't plan to blast it publicly, but I wasn't going to let her walk away clean. Not after all this. Then I called her. Not to warn her. To bait her. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice flat. "Can we meet?" She hesitated. Yeah, I guess. Are you okay? Not really, I said. But I think we should talk. We met at a coffee shop near her place. Neutral ground. She showed up wearing oversized sunglasses like she was famous, and kept fidgeting with her nails like she was about to be ambushed. I didn't want this to happen like this, she said as soon as she sat down. I messed up. I know that. You didn't just mess up, I said. You took the money. You lied for months. You humiliated me in front of God knows how many people. Why? She looked up, startled. I didn't take it. That was for the wedding. It's gone, Kyla, I said, sharp now. The account's closed. The transfers were all to you. Don't lie to my face. She opened her mouth like she was going to spin something, then paused. Okay, she said, softer. Yes, I took it. But I was going to put it back. Bryce was in trouble and he needed. No, I said. You don't get to play savior now. You were never going to marry me. Were you? Silence. I don't know, she finally said. Maybe not. I think I wanted to, but I got caught up. And once you started planning everything, it was easier to just go with it. She shrugged, like she hadn't just described the emotional equivalent of lighting my future on fire. I loved you, I said. I was going to build a life with you. I know, she whispered. That's what makes this worse. I let that hang in the air for a moment. Then I leaned forward and said, You're going to give the money back. All of it. She blinked. What? I know, I can't just. Then I'll take it to court, I said. You think a judge won't side with me after seeing the stream? The texts? The timeline of transfers? Her face crumpled. You wouldn't. Try me. She didn't cry this time. I think she was too tired. Or maybe she realized she didn't have any cards left to play. I don't have all of it, she muttered. Some of it's gone. How much is left? Maybe 6,000. I nodded slowly. You're going to send me every dollar of that. Today. And then we'll talk about the rest. She didn't argue. Just nodded. Later that evening, I got a transfer notification. $6,000 from Kyla in. It was a start. But I wasn't finished. I reached out to one of her close friends, Megan, someone who had always seemed a little skeptical of our relationship. I figured if anyone knew more than she let on, it'd be her. When I called, Megan didn't sound surprised. I was wondering when you'd call me, she said. You knew, didn't you? I didn't know everything, she said carefully. But I knew about Bryce. And I knew she wasn't serious about the wedding. Why didn't you say anything? She made me swear. Said she'd cut me off if I did. I tried to hint at stuff, but you were so in love, I figured you wouldn't believe me anyway. That hurt. Because she was probably right. But listen, Megan added, her voice low, if you're looking for proof she never planned to go through with the wedding, check the venue booking. She canceled it last month. I froze. What? I only know because I overheard her bragging to her cousin. She said you were too dumb to notice, and she just kept the confirmation email as a prop. I didn't respond. I couldn't. That night, I called the venue again, pretending to be Kyla's fiancée and asking to confirm the date. The woman on the phone hesitated, then said, Actually, that reservation was canceled on April 3rd. You didn't know. I hung up without saying another word. Kyla canceled the wedding almost 4 weeks before I saw that stream. For weeks of pretending, lying, smiling in photos, going over seating charts and cake flavors, all with the full intention of walking away. But walk away to what? The next day, I got a call from a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. When I played it back, my blood ran cold. It wasn't Kyla. It was Bryce. Hey, man, he said, laughing a little. I heard you're poking around and making things messy. Just a heads up, Kyla's not the only one who's got dirt. Be careful who you piss off. He hung up. That was the moment I realized this went deeper than I thought. Because this wasn't just a breakup. This was a setup. And I wasn't done digging. I saved Bryce's voicemail and forwarded it to myself, just in case. His tone wasn't just cocky, it was threatening. But it also told me something important. He was nervous. If he and Kyla really thought they had nothing to lose, they wouldn't be calling me from blocked numbers. They underestimated me. A few days later, I went to the police with everything, the stream recording, the transfer history, the voicemail. I explained the whole situation, including how Kyla had emptied our joint wedding account. To my surprise, they actually took it seriously. Technically, since I could prove deceit, misrepresentation, and that the account was open for a specific mutual purpose, the wedding, this could qualify as a civil fraud case, possibly even theft by deception depending on state law. The officer I spoke with said it might be hard to prosecute without more proof she never intended to marry me, but it was possible, especially with the video evidence and venue cancellation. So I filed an official complaint. While I waited for things to move legally, I went back to Megan. She didn't owe me anything, but she seemed genuinely disgusted with Kyla now. She agreed to meet again, and this time she brought receipts, literally. Turns out, Megan had screenshots from a group chat Kyla was in with 2 other girls. In those messages, Kyla joked about faking the wedding to fund a trip to Costa Rica with Bryce. "All I gotta do is keep the act going till the wire clears," one message said. "After that, I ghost him and bounce. Bryce and I already scoped airbs." Another message had a picture of the ring I gave her, captioned, "Thanks for the upgrade, sucker." It was like reading messages from a complete stranger. Cold. Calculated. I wasn't a person to her, just a mark. A stupid, smitten wallet. I added the screenshots to the case file and contacted a lawyer. He was blunt with me. Getting the rest of the money back might be a long shot, but with the stream and those messages, we had a strong enough argument to push for civil damages. He also said if Bryce benefited financially, and we could prove it, he could be implicated too. That was all I needed to hear. I gave my lawyer the green light. While that process began, I started trying to rebuild what Kyla had burned down. Canceled all my shared accounts, got her off my lease, even changed the locks. I told my friends everything. No one sided with her, not a single person. I also posted a carefully worded summary of the situation on my private social media. I didn't name names or include the video, but I made sure to outline exactly what happened in a way that would spread. People needed to know. Especially her friends. Especially her family. A week later, Kyla's mom called me, apologizing, begging me not to press charges. She made a mistake, she said. She's young. Don't ruin her life over this. I almost laughed. Ruin her life? What about mine? But I didn't say that. I just replied, if she wanted her life intact, maybe she shouldn't have tried to con me and brag about it on camera. She hung up. After that, I stopped hearing from Kyla. Completely. Then, 2 weeks later, something strange happened. I got a message from a woman I didn't know. Her name was Eliza. She said she found me through mutuals and that she had something I needed to see. I was suspicious at first, but when I opened the file she sent, my heart damn near stopped. It was a screenshot of a dating app profile. Bryce. Different city. Different name. Same pictures. The bio read, looking for something real, not fake love. Under that, a bunch of romantic pictures of him and someone else. Not Kyla. Eliza explained that she had gone on a few dates with him, thought he was too good to be true, and then found his other social media where he'd posted pics with Kyla, calling her my ride or die. Apparently, he'd been scamming her too. Talking about starting a business, asking for startup help, even pushing for her to co-sign a car. I thanked her and forwarded it to my lawyer. Turns out, Kyla wasn't just Bryce's co-conspirator. She was his latest victim too. Because a week later, I got an update from Megan. Kyla was back living at her mom's. Bryce had disappeared, took the rest of the money they were planning to escape with and ghosted her. Just like she planned to do to me. It was almost poetic. The last time I saw Kyla was during our mediation hearing. She walked in with her hair tied back, no makeup, wearing a cheap suit that looked borrowed. No wine glass. No smirk. Just eyes that wouldn't meet mine. We settled for $11,000. She had to pay it in monthly installments, but she'd agreed to avoid a trial. The judge called it restitution for intentional financial misconduct. My lawyer called it a win. I called it closure. After that, I walked out of the courthouse and left her behind, not just physically, but emotionally. I stopped checking her socials. Stopped wondering what she was doing. Stopped letting her live in my head rent-free. It took me a long time to stop feeling like a fool. But now, when I think back to that night, when I saw her live stream, all smug and drunk on her own cruelty, I don't feel rage anymore. I just feel relief. Because I got out. Barely, but I got out.